I'd like to introduce to you a series of teachings that I began to develop clear back in 1986 when I went on an unexpected research trip to the Library of Congress to research something I really didn't understand. I didn't understand what the purpose of the research was. I just began to do the research and discovered it was about something God did long ago that had been forgotten. And the result was a book that I wrote, The Forgotten Awakening. After I wrote the book, I discovered that my adventure in research was not at all finished. God had only begun to work in my life in this research way. And he was starting to introduce me to other forgotten awakenings and other great things that he had done. So this began to be almost a lifetime adventure of discovering a bit here and a bit here and another bit here, a story here, a narrative here, and then pretty soon putting all these bits and pieces together and seeing patterns and seeing a narrative, seeing a track record, the track record of God. You would think that Christian people would make some effort to remember the mighty deeds of God. For example, the Jews used to do this. They were very, very insistent. It became a very important thing for the Jews to remember the mighty deeds of God. So they made sure, because they loved God, they made sure to tell the stories of God himself. For example, here's Psalm 77. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your miracles of long ago. I will meditate on all your works and consider all your mighty deeds. And then, the very next psalm, he does it. He actually does do a rehearsal of the track record of God. So in Psalm 78, you see one thing after another, and these are deeds. These are not theological ideas. These are remembering what God did and putting all of these stories into a track record. I remember when I first went to theological school, and I sort of had the idea that theological school was going to be a place where I could study God. I was interested in God. I sensed God in my life, and I wanted to learn him. When I got to theological school, I discovered that even though the word theology means the study of God, theos, God, ology, study of. Even though it was, in my thought, going to be the study of God, it turned out to be the study of people's ideas about God. That's a different thing. You see, it's as though when God does something, we immediately forget about the thing God did and we jump right to our response to what God did because we're so excited to tell what happened as a result, the things that we did. And so we've come up with a thing called church history. Church history, again, is not the study of God. It's the study of people's response to God in the way that they've structured the church or in the theology of this or that denomination and so on. That's different. What I discovered in the discovery of the mighty deeds of God was that I could see God more, see history from God's point of view more and more. See patterns developing, see how he does things, see lessons that he wanted to teach, and more then, a track record developed in which I began to see that history is not our story at all, but it's his story, and he keeps trying to show us himself in our history. I discovered that this research that he was getting me into was almost like a treasure hunt. The things that he has done, as soon as they were done, went to the bottom. They sunk down to the bottom of the river of life. And then they would get covered over by layers of mud. Talk about that later in the series. And then it would take somebody to go down to the bottom, hunt for the treasure, find out where it was located, bring that thing back out of the mud, and lift it up above the surface so that people can see it again. That's what I hope this series will do, called Glory Through Time. I would love to have you discover all the fascinating treasures that I have discovered so that you can unpack those treasures as well.